a good idea. How about this?
Perfect. We don't even have a design yet.
It will take us 100 years probably to fill us up with doodles. Let's do it.
All right, we'll be back.
Welcome to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Par Lumber. Your Weekend Warriors, Tony and Corey.
We are back in the Weekend Warriors workshop, and today we're going to be building some stuff to hopefully get our studio a little more organized.
We definitely need some organization.
You know me, I like to take a pencil and we like to draw it out. And you know, in our mobile workbench that we made, we usually just draw all over the top of that thing, and it's covered with little doodles from me and Tony over the last few years on our projects with dimensions and all those things. But you know, now that we're in the workshop, I think we need to do something a little better. What if we had a roll of paper that we could roll out and draw on it?
We could definitely cover the walls with all of our little plans of things. That's a good idea. How about this?
Perfect.
Paper.
What is this?
This is a roll of 3M craft paper, which I got at Par Lumber, and it was very inexpensive, and it will take us 100 years probably to fill this up with doodles.
3 foot by 166 feet. Our table's 8 feet long. What are we looking at? 166 divided by 8?
It's a lot.
A lot. Let's roll this thing out and we'll just start coming up with some ideas. Tony!
You know what would be cool? If we had this roll and it was just mounted right on the side of the workbench right here, and then every time we were ready to draw a little design, we just pull it off, and it would just keep rolling it right up.
Like the doctor's office.
Yeah, just like that, that's right. It will always have a clean workbench.
Yeah.
This is a good plan.
All right.
We should build this.
Let's do that. Let's go get some materials. We'll come up with a design and let's build that.
Let's do it.
All right, so the roll is 36 inches.
Yes.
Our workbench is 44 inches wide.
Okay.
Which is perfect.
We need a dowel.
Yep, a dowel.
And then we need something to hold the dowel.
I think we could cut it out of plywood.
Okay.
One of my ideas is to take the dowel rod and cut a slot for that dowel rod and then put another piece sandwiched next to it that will hold it in place and not allow that dowel rod to slide around.
All right, draw me a little picture.
Okay. Like this, you know, with a notch in it like that.
Okay.
Dowel rod goes in the middle, the paper goes like that.
Yep. Back that with a solid piece.
Yep, back that with a solid piece back there. A terrible drawing, but
that seems super easy.
Let's get the gist.
Let's do it. You got some 1/2-inch plywood actually right here in this studio.
Okay, so we just need a dowel rod and some screws and some tools, and we're rolling.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be back. All right, got the plywood. So we got a 1-inch diameter dowel, fits perfectly inside this roll of paper.
Perfect.
Let's find out the diameter of the paper, and that'll tell us about how big we need to make our box. How about that? We're gonna need 4 pieces of 1/2-inch plywood that are 6 inches in square.
Okay.
So let's mark it out here, 6 inches there. 6 inches there. This piece is about 12 inches, 13 inches, so that'll be perfect. We can get 2, 4, and then on 2 of these pieces, we're gonna drill a hole right through the middle and then notch it out to create the slot for the dowel rod to slide into.
One of the really cool things about the Makita tool line is that all of these tools that we're using, that you see all lined up, they all use the exact same battery, which is very cool. Smaller tools use 1 battery, larger tools use 2 batteries, and Makita is the official tool of the Weekend Warriors.
So I would consider this a mistake, because what'll happen is you'll cut this piece from this end here, and you're gonna take out a thing. So this piece will actually be an 1/8 inch smaller, or a blade width smaller than this piece.
Did you get all that, folks? I measured it wrong. Corey's fixing it.
Well, it's a common mistake, I think, is what happens, is people will measure, say you're cutting 3 pieces at 6 inches each. Well, when you measure out the first piece at 6 inches, and then the next cut at 12 inches, and say the next cut at 18 inches, Well, by the time you get to that third piece, you've cut an 1/8 inch off here, an 1/8 inch off here, and then that last piece is gonna be too small. What I would do is measure 6 inches from this side, make that cut. Next, measure 6 inches from this side, make that cut. So you have two pieces that are identically 6 inches. That's just cool. All right, Tony, we got all 4 of our pieces. So what we need to do is cut a slot in the dead center of this square. So to do that, I'm gonna take my little square, and I'm gonna draw a line from
Corner to corner.
corner to corner. And right there, at that point, is where we're gonna drill our 1-inch diameter hole. And then we're going to draw out from that straight lines for our thing to drop into.
Okay,
Sound
good.
good?
Yep.
So we've got 2 pieces with 1-inch diameter holes cut in them. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw straight lines down, and then we're gonna take our multi-tool and cut those out to create our slot. So now we have to fasten these together somehow. So this is what it's like. We got these little slots cut in there. They're not pretty, but they'll do the job. So our plan is to set it out like that. Then this here will drop in like that on either side and lock it in. These little sandwich in there. We'll be able to take this out, load it with new paper, and then drop a new roll in. So what we need to do is fasten these together, maybe with some screws. Let's pre-drill and screw that together so it doesn't split. Now we need to set our overall length to accept this. A little bit of wiggle room, not much, just enough.
So you're gonna cut a piece of plywood 6 inches by 44.
Yep, 2 pieces.
So you're gonna fasten that to the outside of this?
Yep, outside, outside, and then we'll cut the bottom piece 7 inches by 44 to go on the bottom. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, Tony and I are gonna use our favorite tool, and that is our Makita track saw. Absolutely love this tool. I hooked up the vacuum, so we're gonna turn that on and then make these straight cuts. We're gonna rip 2 pieces, 6 inches wide at 44 inches long, and then 1 piece 7 inches wide at 44 inches long. So the 7-inch piece goes here on the bottom. 2 side pieces go like right here.
Yep. And then assembly. Or you want to fasten it first, then make a measurement, then cut the...
Yeah, cut the dowel rod last.
Okay.
So we'll screw these together like that, nothing fancy. I'm thinking, let's put this last piece on last because we'll be able to screw it to the side of the thing first.
Okay.
Then we'll flip it over. We left this side off because we have to fasten this to our workbench. And we didn't want to have to worry about getting our screw gun in here because there's just not enough room. So let's do that. Let's take this to the side of the workbench and screw it in, and then we'll put the front face on that. Sound good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now we're going to put our front on. Not that we need it, but I think it'll just finish it off nice. All right, in classic Weekend Warrior fashion, we had a good design, a good idea, we poorly executed it. So we built this thing, we bolted it to the side, but we forgot to take into consideration that we put a lip on our workbench top. So it comes over the edge slightly, and now we can't fit our paper roll in there with the rod already through the hole.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole through right where our hole was inside, and then we'll just feed the rod through one end. After we load the paper, we'll hold it in there, feed it through. It'll be good as new. So we're improvising. Just come in here like this, drill it through. So I came in from both sides. The pilot hole drilled through, and the reason I did that was to prevent tear out on the other side. So I got it most of the way through on one side, and then since the pilot hole comes through, I can go on the other side and drill it through. That way it's nice and clean. So now we are ready to load our paper in our paper caddy.
Yes.
All right, so I will get ready with the rod if you want to drop it down. Well, Tony, this thing works really well, except now if we move this, the rod drops because we have a hole in one side.
Right.
So I came up with an idea. I'm gonna take a little piece of scrap wood and I'm gonna screw it into the edge here with one screw.
At the top.
At the top, and then we can
Make a little
rotate it
door.
out of the way.
Yep.
Rotate it back, and it'll keep it nice and tight in there.
Good idea.
Well, there we have it. We made a little tool caddy for our
A paper caddy.
paper. So it's our paper
It's
caddy.
like a giant toilet paper holder.
Yeah,
It's a giant, it's a giant drawing paper holder. And you know what else we did in the same time frame?
What?
We created our first masterpiece.
That's right.
This drawing is definitely going on the wall.
Just like that. This really couldn't have gone any better. This works perfectly. Now it gives us a nice clean surface every time we want to do some doodles and some drawings and some designs. It's awesome.
And now we're ready to design our next project.
We really had fun. Hope you found some inspiration in this video. And obviously, this method would work for you. You might have to adjust your sizes depending on the size of your paper, but you know, if you have any questions, you can leave those down below.
If you want to stay up to date on our videos, hit the subscribe button. This has been another episode of Your Weekend Warriors.
We'll see you next time.
You have to do more than one.
Make sure you like and subscribe. I gotta say that.
Okay, I'll do it.